A first-class ghost sensation. This is from the Alton Daily Telegraph, December 15th, 1881. It has been named by one worthy citizen, the Phantom Buggy. Welcome to Friday Night Ghost Frights from Haunted Road Media. I'm author and ghost historian Mike Ricksecker. Explore with us. Yes, Mad Hatters, tonight's venue is a little different. We are broadcasting out of Shana's living room. Of course, she's recovering from her latest gallbladder surgery, so I'm here in no swirling blue lights, but it works. It's a comfortable couch. We'll do it. It's a brown, same color as mine anyway, right? So we have explored a lot of different ghost stories here on the Haunted Road Media channel, especially through Friday Night Ghost Frights. And a lot of these ghost stories have been lost to time. Well, the other week while doing research, Shana stumbled across a fantastic list of old ghost stories from newspapers in Alton, at least around the Alton, Illinois area, that again have been lost to time. So going to be a little bit different this particular week, and I'm actually going to read you some of these lost ghost stories. Some of them are very, very interesting. A first-class ghost sensation. This is from the Alton Daily Telegraph, December 15th, 1881. A first-class ghost sensation is now exciting the people, it being currently reported that one of the mysterious fraternity has lately been seen in the adjoining graveyard. His ghost ship only appears to single individuals, seeming to be troubled with a difference that impels him to avoid a crowd. A party of 3 or 4 went on a ghost hunting expedition a few nights since, but owing to the bad weather or some other hindrance, there was no supernatural appearance. Some individuals, however, have been scared out of the year's growth, and state that the spook is no humbug. A party of 8 Altonians visited the Milton Cemetery last night, saw the ghost, but did not venture to interview it. So you gotta love some of the language here in the articles. The next one is actually a follow-up to this. The Wood River Ghost. Again, sources Alton Daily Telegraph, December 16th, 1881. We gave an account yesterday of the supernatural visitor that is said to haunt the Milton Cemetery. It has been terrifying the citizens of Alton Junction lately, and also of the trip of 8 Altonians to interview the mysterious apparition. The Altonians, with unheard of valor, went within sight of the haunted spot, and about 10 o'clock were rewarded with the view of the mysterious being. It appeared to them as a man clothed in a black mantle, with long flowing hair, the height of the ghost ranging from 6 to 9 feet, according to the magnifying power of the bulging eyes that stared at it, the company being speechless throughout the amazement. It is reported that they had the termini to stand within 100 yards of the visitation for 15 minutes, and then withdrew without disturbing the ghost in the least, it walking back and forth a distance of 40 or 50 feet with a military and preoccupied air that was quite startling. Whether material or supernatural, the apparition was enough to demoralize the Altonians and send them back to town in disorder. One of the railroad employees at the junction visited the haunted spot a few nights ago, saw the apparition, and bravely approaching it, thrust his arm directly through the body. This completely unnerved him, and he retreated to the junction pale as the traditional ghost, and firmly convinced of the supernatural character of the visitant. The old residents assert that the apparition is that of a man buried on a knoll in 1839. How they know that is a matter not yet explained. Meanwhile, Alton Junction has a sensation and is happy, though trembling. So there's a number of follow-up stories to this, and it seems that this Milton Cemetery is a spot that Shana and I are going to go check out, because there's some old ghost stories here that are worth pursuing. So we'll skip on to some other stories, though. So this one is Phantom Buggy in Upper Alton, from the Alton Evening Telegraph, May 23rd, 1901. Upper Alton has a mystery which bids fair to rival State Street's Woman in Black. I didn't know State Street had a Woman in Black, too. It has been named by one worthy citizen, the Phantom Buggy. For several weeks, this noiseless vehicle, drawn by a shadowy steed whose movements are so slow and quiet that they are scarcely perceptible, has appeared in the gloom of the evening on different streets of the village, and has excited no little curiosity and speculation. The buggy is rigged with a closed top and appears to contain 2 muffled forms, which neither speak nor move. It was last seen by a college professor whose veracity has been questioned, and was returning from a faculty meeting. On the loneliest part of the way, he saw this mysterious equipage and immediately recognized it and thought to challenge it. But the awful stillness appalled him and he fled in terror, thinking he was followed by a ghostly cavalcade of horsemen and carriages. College professors are all given to more or less theorizing, and now he believes they are the phantom of men and horses whose lives were lost in the mud on College Avenue during the past 2 winters, and that only the paving of that street will soothe these unhappy spirits. If they pave the street, the buggy will go away. This one's a report from some children in the area. Boys frightened by a ghost, Alton Evening Telegraph, 1902. 10 or 12 boys, known indefinitely as the Dutchtown Boys, although such a Norwegian name as Gormley appears among them, went across the river yesterday to camp and fish for a week or 2. They came back about 11 o'clock last night, out of breath and with a fully developed desire to stay away from Missouri Point. Some of the boys say a ghost frightened them, but the others say that mosquitoes over there are man-eaters, and like Bosco the Snake Man, eat them alive. Of course, who Bosco the Snake Man is, we don't know. Psychic force enlightens police chief. Woman tells where escaped prisoners are hiding. Alton Evening Telegraph, July 27, 1904. All escaped criminals and all other criminals who might well be looked after by police would do well to keep in shady places hereafter and to change their places of abode frequently. Chief of Police Maxwell has a volunteer assistant to his detective department in the person of Mrs. Louise Laverne, who claims to be a psychic force and who can tell you everything you have done and what you intend to do, what kind of parents you had, and can see the innermost secrets of your life. She called at the police station Wednesday morning and at once threw herself into a seeing state and began telling Chief Maxwell what he's been trying to find out for months. She told him that the prisoners had escaped justice in Alton and they were in hiding and other criminals are coming, that the chief had received messages from various places which would develop into events of import. Mrs. Laverne said she had learned that seers were forbidden to practice in Alton, and that to demonstrate she was no ordinary fakir, she called to Beard the lion in his den and tell some of the close secrets of the police chief, which she laid bare to the world of police and newspaper reporters. Old Plank Roadhouse in Alton said to be visited by spooks. There's always something doing to attract the attention of the skeptic and to cause him wonder. If after all his doubts, which he calls convictions, there is not more to life than what we see of it on earth. Mysterious manifestations, many of which have never been explained, have been a frequent occurrence throughout the country, and Alton has not been entirely neglected in this particular either. According to residents of Upper Bell Street, or the Old Plank Road, as it is yet called by many, there is something uncanny going on in a house above the Dixon Stone Quarry, and the ghosts, or whatever they are, do not wait until night, as most regulated ghosts have done from time immemorial, to begin their pranks either. Often in the middle of the day, occupants of the house hear the flapping of wings, as if some great bird was in the room and close to descent upon its listeners. Nothing can be seen, however, and the sound continues sometimes for 5 minutes, while the bewildered occupants listen and tremble in wonder. Queer noises are heard in the cellar of the house at all hours or any hour, and sometimes the sounds are said to issue from the walls of the house apparently. Things disappear very mysteriously sometimes, the lady of the house says. Oftentimes they disappear almost before your very eyes, but no trace of them is ever found again, and where they go or by what influence they are controlled cannot be learned. And for those of you into witchy shit, Invitation for Witches Party, Alton Evening Telegraph, October 25th, 1905. Mr. and Mrs. Leroy Wilding, 1630 Common Street, have issued unique invitations for a witches' revel, which can be held on the evening of October 28th at their home. The invitations are sent out in the form of a black cat, on the back of which is written the request for the presence of the recipient. Each person going must cover with a black coat, mask, cap, and gloves, and the injunction is forbidding the guests speaking. Family puzzled over queer situation in their front parlor. Furniture turned upside down, books strewn about the floor. Alton Evening Telegraph, May 6, 1908. Mr. and Mrs. Hosea B. Sparks of 410 Prospect Street are very much puzzled over something that happened in their home last Monday night, which might require the mind of a Sherlock Holmes to solve. When they went to bed Monday night, everything in the front parlor was in an orderly condition. The furniture was in the usual places, and the books in the bookcases were where they had been kept for a long time. When Mr. and Mrs. Sparks entered the parlor the next morning, The place had the appearance of having been visited by a miniature tornado, which caused considerable damage throughout the same night. The parlor furniture was turned upside down and moved out of place. The books had been taken from the bookcases and strewn about the floor of the room. Someone had made an effort to make the place as untidy as possible, as if playing an April Fool joke. No one in the house could offer any solution of the mystery. Nothing has been missed. It is believed that if anyone broke into the house, it is not for the purpose of stealing anything. Whoever it was disarranged the parlor furniture and books was satisfied with having caused that much annoyance and left. These are but a few of the many old ghost stories that actually appear in the Alton papers during the late 1800s and early 1900s. A very interesting find, and we'll continue to explore these here on Haunted Road Media. If you like this video, please go ahead and leave some comments below. Go ahead and give it that thumbs up. If you have not yet, please go ahead and subscribe and click that little bell notification to get notifications when we have new videos come out. I'm Mike Ricksecker. Until next Friday night.